Blessings. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, welcome. Thanks for having me, and thanks for holding this important conversation.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it is so important. It's such a delight that you're with us. Would it be okay to just start by me sharing your amazing bio?
Sure.
Okay.
I always say, don't believe your own bio.
I'm just going to mute a couple things here. Okay. Saul David Raye is a teacher, healer, musician, and peace activist. He has been practicing and teaching for over 25 years, primarily influenced by his studies of Hatha yoga, bhakti, tantra, Thai massage, pranic healing, and shamanism. Saul's heart-centered approach to yoga and healing have influenced many students and teachers around the world. He is able to bring alive the ancient wisdom teachings for modern seekers and create a safe space for students to connect deeply with their own authentic power, spirit, and truth. For over 20 years, he has taught at conferences, festivals, and retreats, both in the US and abroad, and has presented alongside many luminaries in the spiritual world. His music project, 10,000 Suns, Music for Healing, Peace, and Awakening, reached number 3 on the iTunes World Music Charts. That's so amazing. He has taught and performed at festivals and healing centers around the world and continues to share his work through online programs, teacher trainings, workshops, sacred journeys, and retreats and sacred music. Wow.
No, I can't believe it myself. I've been doing it a long time. I think that's why. It sounds so pleasant.
Yeah. How has your life journey been so far?
I mean, the short answer is amazing and challenging and beautiful and so often when I do my practice, I just remember from a connected state just to give thanks for life and for the journey. And when I'm not in that connected state, it doesn't feel that way. But luckily, I practice all the time.
Yeah.
So it helps me to remember every day.
Yeah.
There's just maybe a suggestion. There's I'm not sure the formats. I think there's a lot of people, but if whoever's not talking, myself included, maybe we could just mute it. And I'm not sure how the video's set up, but I'm seeing other icons on the screen. So that'll go to the recording. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes. If everyone, I think I can also mute too, but if everyone can mute if they're not speaking, that would be great. Yes. Thank you, Saul.
Sure.
So you're in Sedona right now.
I am. I'm in Sedona, Arizona, and it's an incredible, energetic spot, just stunningly beautiful. And we just did a Sedona Yoga Festival here, first festival for many of us in 2.5 years.
Oh, amazing.
For me. And just really in a beautiful affirmation of community, people meeting, coming together, breathing and praying and meditating and just, embracing each other as humans.
Yeah.
So it feels so good.
Yeah.
Everyone taking care of themselves, working on, respecting others, navigating through the current situation we're in. But it was really beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful. And the festival is continuing on, or it's?
No, it finished on Monday, like main festival Sunday. And then I think they had some more programs on Monday.
Yeah.
I did my Thursday through Sunday run. And so just taking a few days now in Sedona.
Yeah, just to enjoy a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beautiful. May I ask you what?
Anything you want.
Okay. Yeah, you're just such an amazing fountain of wisdom and light. It's a delight and an honor to ask you questions. Could I ask you about self-love and how you see self-love and what it means to you?
Let's just get right to the nitty gritty. So, that's what intrigued me so much about what you were doing. And I felt your intention and just also the way we met in Nashville through the practice itself. So So I want to just tell a little story. It's a short story.
Great.
And many years ago, I took a group. I've taken many groups over the years, but this one particular group, we're in India, and we went to see this elder yogi, Baba, and his name was Ram Kripalu Baba. And he was really beautiful. I'd actually never met him before. I'd heard about him. And he's very majestic man, big chest. And he had these like long dreadlocks, and I think they're like 11 feet long, but he had them like coiled up.
Wow.
And he's probably, I don't know, 70-ish at the time. And he's what they also call a Naga Baba. So they've been to India. Some of the Nagas live completely naked when it's warm enough, of course.
Wow.
And then they just cover themselves in ash from the sacred fire. And interestingly, when you're around people that are naked in the West, that might be weird, right? You walk into a meeting and someone's naked. Well, something would be not quite right. But in that setting, sitting with the Babas and the Mamas who are like that, they're so comfortable in their own body and their nakedness that you immediately feel at ease too.
Yeah.
He wasn't naked that night, but just he spent many years like that.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of getting to the naked truth, so that's why I put that bit in. But we were sitting there with a group, and someone asked the usual question that Westerners ask when they go, or modern seekers ask when they go and see a spiritual teacher. And they said, what is the most important thing to cultivate or to practice on this journey? And he closed his eyes, and it was very, I can feel sometimes we have these moments, they're just very real and present, and they're still in you, Yeah. He closed his eyes, and he just said, and then he opened his eyes, and he said, love yourself, that is all.
Oh.
Now, in context, yoga has so many practices, and people learn to stand on one hand, two hands. They do back bends and contortions, or years of meditation, concentration. And from this, I'm going to say, yoga master, he just said, love yourself. That is all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And understanding, even at that level, that's what we're working on. We can do all the other things, which are so great, the attainments we have maybe in material life or spiritual life.
Yeah.
But to truly love yourself beyond the kind of, level one would be maybe a little more narcissistic, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just part of getting comfortable with yourself and maybe liking the good parts. But that ever deepening self-love of getting to know who you really are, being with yourself, even in the silence, the awkward times. And so I would agree with him that we're all learning how to love ourselves, each other, and that's what we want, to fall in love with our lives, So I'm still working on it, 30 years of yoga.
Yeah.
And what I've found as really the secret for myself is I think I'm a hard case, I just, my whole life is set up so that I have to show up and be present with others.
Yeah.
And my greatest teachers, my heart teachers, gave me some tools to come back to my own heart and to understand that love is the most natural expression that we actually have as human beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to everybody out there who's, resonating with this idea and concept of self-love, just know that it's a journey we're all on.
Yeah.
And the moment we just decide to show up for ourselves, in a more loving way, and it can be real simple things that we do, just even self-care, eating food that's nourishing, doing something nice for yourself, realizing that you're the source of your own output. If the well runs dry, you can't do all the wonderful things you want to do, help the people you want to. So self-love is part of the Dharma. It's, I want to love all beings. May all beings be happy and free. I want to love all beings, including myself.
Yeah.
Care for others and myself, because we're all connected.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. May I possibly ask what challenges or growth points you are finding on the journey of self-love?
Well, I think probably the same as everybody else in that it's, we have these old memories, conditionings, experiences, beliefs that got programmed in there along the way. Like, so I'm kind of from the idea that, we're all like in our most pure form, we're little sparks of God, all of us, from the great divine fire. And we're all pure souls. We call that in Sanskrit as Atma. It's where we get the English word atom comes from that, actually, an atmosphere. So an Atma is a divine soul. It's like in the scriptures of India, they talk about that pure part of us, like it's never born, it never dies, it can't be destroyed, it can't be burned by fire. They go to great, beautiful lengths. So I really feel like we all have that in us. It's like the purity in a little child. It's that beautiful light in someone when they just are in that pure vibration. And yet we've all had a rough go and we got incarnated, whether it's just this life or I, believe in the possibility of other lives. I don't know what that looks like, but these experiences in matter as a pure soul that we take on impressions, we call those samskaras in the yoga tradition. I call them samskars. We all have some scars. And so maybe you incarnated in a family where they really loved you, but they had a lot of their own pain they hadn't worked out. And they took that out, or somehow that came out in us. And you didn't get the full support to remember your own power and beauty. And to understand, love and fear, we're kind of in this dualistic reality, right? And so I think like the Course in Miracles like resonate with that. Like love is the reality, fear is a distortion. And yet fear also comes in handy in this earth plane. So I still, after many years, come up against my self-critic, come up against sometimes for me, like I'm a good, and all the healers out there, caregivers can resonate with this. Like some of us are really good at taking care of others. And then we put ourselves last. So just learning over the years, and I still forget, but just trying to, like, I have to take care of myself. In order to, have something to show up with. And I'll just say one last thing is like being in an environment where love can consciously be present is very helpful. Because, and like to me, a lot of my relating is like that. It's like in what I call sacred space. Like we're trying to create that together. And when we do that, when we put love first with our intention, with kind of like what you're doing right now with this workshop, right? It's like, this is about self-love and exploration, conversation. It allows us to show up in a different way. And I think it's really how most of us, maybe all of us, really want to show up. We just want to get clear on our hearts and our minds and how I want to show up. And like for me, even with all this craziness of these last years, I'm ever more committed to trying to create a space of unity. I know divisions are there. Sometimes they could be good, but they can also be terrible. And I believe in a human family, and we got to come together. We got to talk to each other. We got to work it out, and we can love each other. And as Martin Luther King says, and I believe in the Gospels too, but loving doesn't mean that you necessarily have to like everyone. It just is love. It's like recognition of the deeper reality that we're all children of God. And I can work on love and cultivating that. And we may have differences that don't allow us to like sit at the same table and break bread and get along or stay married or whatever in this life. But we can see from that higher view, love and respect. And so that's really helpful. And it helps me every day that I do it, including this last weekend.
That's such a great point. We might not always like or resonate with everything, but that's okay. But we can recognize the deeper bond as brothers and sisters, all God sparks. That's so beautiful. I'm curious also to ask you, Saul, about all the different roles you play as a being on the earth. as a family man and all the amazing work you do, and just navigating all of that with self-love and love for others. Is that kind of a constant balancing journey, or?
For sure, because the karmas show up everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll just be, really honest. I mean, it's, I mean, we're all on this human journey. We have things that we're good at. We have things that we're not good at. We have our challenges in our life. And for me, family life has been very difficult because being on the road all the time. And that's where I'm able to, it's the irony is that's how I can really support my family.
Yeah.
So missing, precious years of my, or, not years at a time, but precious time of my children growing up. And so as I, as I get older, I just realizing like, what is the most important things because we may be infinite beings, but in this physical body, we have a limited amount of energy and time. 80 years, 100 years, 90, 70, I don't know. I have no idea, but so what's most important? And for me, my kids and just, my close friends, my, beloved, it's like, that's somehow to really, take care of those things. And, we all have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
But it's a work in progress. A friend who's a chiropractor, he has a sign on his wall. It's like construction workers, and it says, "The road to mastery is always under construction."
Yes, right. We've been talking a lot about that in the past couple of days. Maybe the ego or the spiritual ego might have some fantasy that there's a destination of, well, when I achieve this sort of spiritual mastery, I won't suffer at all, or everything will be very peaceful all the time.
Future. Future mind.
And just, I remember very much, I think I said this to you on the phone when we spoke recently, that when I first met you and you were doing a yoga sort of teaching at Raquel's studio here in Nashville, I was very struck by what I sensed as your capacity to hold the full human experience of all the really comfortable emotions and the pain as well. And it just sort of like the messiness, I guess you might call it, or the richness might be a more positive way to call it, of the human experience.
From experience, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's the nitty gritty. I mean, we have this aspiration towards spirituality and our divine self.
Yeah.
But we're also a human. And there are so many things that are beautiful about our humanity.
Yeah.
It's not just our divinity that's going to get us out of the mess we're in now. It's our humanity relating to each other. And so like, I really see, this world is goddess as much as anything else. This is creation. And so we're all, like this intersection of human and divine and spirit and matter, right? That's the alchemy of spirit and matter.
Yeah.
So it gets really messy. And even the highest gurus, they've got their closets. Sometimes, not all the time, but religious leaders, spiritual, and people can be amazing teachers and healers and show up in the world and still have like big learning to do and big healing. I mean, that's my case. It's like from a young age, I was like in ashrams and meditation centers.
Yeah.
And it was so natural to me. And I still have not worked out all my human parts. I mean, that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
To fully integrate.
Right. And what you started off by saying, it's easy to think, oh, if my divinity will sort of save me from my human self in a way, but it's both feed each other, right? The humanity informs the divinity, and the divinity informs the humanity. As you said, this alchemy intersection is what we're experiencing.
Yeah. No, I believe that. I mean, to me, that's a whole model, an integrated model, both shadow and light.
Yeah.
You see this fracture in the kind of conscious world, shadow work, no, divine light, we're light, no, we're shadow, we got to.
Right.
And it's just another duality. I mean, they both exist and they're both real.
Right.
And shadow is simply the unknown parts of ourselves. It's not a bad thing. It's only when we repress those aspects and behaviors that we don't bring them into the light and awareness of love and working with it and consciousness, that becomes a problem. But it's both. And I mean, if you think about it, it's like, even in our world, it's like the moment we, in the modern mind and culture, that we start to see this planet as a living, breathing being, an organism, like truly not just something for us to extract and make profit over, to own and make profit. And this is the vision of ancient cultures all over the world. The idea is not to go backwards and become like ancient cultures, but their understanding of the web of life is profound. And modern man doesn't have that. Einstein actually said that, just simply that, like ancient people seem to have understood something very profound that we've forgotten and important. And that's self-love too, right? Self-love, loving self. I understand I'm a part of this planet, having love and reverence, gratitude every day. For this. And that's beautiful. Gratitude is another one we could talk about.
Is that, you started off with that. Is that one of just your major energies, it feels like, is just,
So like gratitude is a form of love, isn't it? It's, I remember early on encountering a Sufi teaching to this nature, and it was, gratitude is like you receive something, it just feels so good. And you want to beam that back authentically. Thank you from my heart. Like, so gratitude is really a form of love. It's, and in the sense of for life, gracias a la vida, and it takes us a while to get there. It's reciprocating the love of creation. And just saying, thank you for this one wild, precious, crazy adventure life. And like, here's another day. I'm still breathing. I'm here. Like so much we get like in our problems or we get, we don't have. There's a whole yogic teacher on this, like just in simple for now. It's we can focus so much on what we don't have, what's missing. And that creates a negative polarity. It's not to say don't keep going for what you want, but to see the blessings that are showing up right now. So gratitude as a form of love, and then gratitude for yourself for showing up for your life. And though there are many things to be worked on still, thank you for this life. For this moment. And everybody could just start with like one thing, because everybody could find one thing. I can't think of anything. Oh, wait, there's a roof over my head. Okay, that's one thing. Or there's some food. Somebody loves me. I'm healthy.
There's always so much when we really think about it. And for you, is part of self-love or part of your way of being is being in presence, being in the now? I mean, that's really where everything happens, right? That's where life is happening. Otherwise, it's just happening up here. But the practices, I mean, to me, any, true spiritual practice or healing practice brings us into the now. Even like you're on a massage table and you have somebody working on you who's very caringly, it lets you become present with your body so you can breathe. You're the therapist who kind of holds space to let you breathe. Right? So the heart, the human heart, naturally has many qualities within it, but love and courage and compassion and kindness and presence. So for me, also because scientifically this is like a big thing, like the human heart generates electromagnetic fields that are thousands of times stronger than any other part of us. Some people may not know that. It's kind of an amazing
thing to think about because we're all energy beings. We want some, kombucha or coffee or tea or, money, affirmation. Yeah. It's all, we're energetic beings. We reciprocate. Yeah. The heart is the main space that's experience is happening. Literally. It's also your immune system, thymus gland. It's your, your radiance, your health. I mean, it's on all levels and spirit. So tapping, I actually just did a meditation this morning online, but it was like all about like this human heart, cosmic heart, right?
Yeah.
We can do things that tap us into the resonant, coherent fields of the heart. Mm-hmm. It's not like mumbo jumbo. It's not woo woo. It's like real things that we can do that help us to get in that consciousness of a more loving energy. And I'll just say this, like the moment you do that, everything changes because, normally how we see ourselves in our life from our kind of like, I call it default critical mind, or it doesn't have to be critical, but just the way that we default to seeing the world. That is a part of it, but it's not the whole picture, is it? Yeah. It's never the whole picture. So when we get into a more expanded part of our being, brain heart coherence, little science there. I'm not a scientist, but this is what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm a yoga, like your heart mind connection and presence. And then you just see everything different. The possibilities, you're not so hard on yourself. You're more loving. And sorry.
How do you kind of drop into your heart? Is it something you can sort of easily do? Are you there most of the time? Or
yeah. I mean, for me, it's definitely like heart is the way. I'm not there all the time. I wish I was. Like to me, that would be like enlightenment,
Yeah.
But I'm there enough that I know it's real, and I've learned how to. I mean, the practices for me that do it are intention is really important.
Yeah.
Like, what's your intention right now, and right? How do you want to show up? How do you want to be present in this moment?
Yeah.
Breath, because breath is the one energy that connects us directly to life. You can live without pretty much everything for at least a little while, except breath.
Yeah, right.
And then yoga has a lot of intentionality around your focal point, so concentration, but also certain movements that kind of open up. You notice many people as they age, we kind of calcify. Kyphosis, it kind of hardens.
Yeah, right.
And not everyone, but, just simple movements that really keep the circulation happening.
Yeah.
Mother of health circulation and the nerve plexus, their cardiac nerve plexus. That actually is heart opening, right? Because it's actually opening the energy fields and circulation.
Yeah.
So, check out yoga. If yoga doesn't resonate for you, find something like, make Kabbalah or, some deep relaxation practices, breath work, some self-love programs, like there's so many things available to us right now.
Yeah. Beautiful. May I ask you this question?
Yes.
Are you comfortable showing up as your authentic self all the time?
Well, more and more, yeah. And it hasn't always been that way. And like I'm kind of committed to just being me and more comfortable in that. Like when I was younger in my process, I thought I had to be a certain way.
Right.
Kind of what we were talking about earlier, right? And it's like, so it took me some years to kind of just realize that, wow, we are all human, like a lot of what we were talking about earlier. And not to make excuses for messing up, mistakes that we make, but to realize that that's also where we are sometimes, and we can correct those things. But I am human, and I don't want to be inauthentic. I'd much rather live authentically.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why a lot of people also resonate, with that approach, because you know, I'm not coming here saying, you know, I'm enlightened and I'm going to do this or that. We're human, and yet we all have a capacity towards something greater. And especially when we start really opening up this potential energy that's inside of us, right? When we're using a certain part of the brain, certain part of the heart, certain part of our breath.
Yeah.
So the movement of human potential, accessing more of our brain power, more of our heart power, more of our spirit, body, you know. Yeah. It's exciting times here. I mean, it's terrifying and exciting. It's like we're you know, pushing the edge of our ignorance in so many ways.
Yes.
Our disconnection with nature.
Yeah.
And yet we're also tapping into like the amount of information happening on the planet right now that's accessible to people, the gatherings, the tools that are available for people to really get connected.
Yeah.
You disappeared on the screen there. I don't know.
Oh.
You could pin your.
Can you not? You can't see me?
Now I can. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Somebody else came in and.
Oh, okay.
You have to kind of pin I'm not a pro, but you have to either pin yourself or.
Okay. Yeah, I think if someone else makes a noise, that might go, pin.
Just,
okay.
Yeah, there you go. And that'll just pin you. And then if I don't know if I can get in there too, but.
Oh, maybe I can pin you too?
Probably not, but that's okay. I think.
Okay, I think I just pinned you.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's good. Oh, thank you for telling me that. I didn't know how to do that.
It's there are a lot of learning curves on technology.
Learning curves here, totally. So we've talked about some absolutely beautiful ways of being gratitude and self-love. Are there any other sort of major ways of being that you really embody or really honor, privilege?
You know, I feel like we all have a direct connection with Earth.
Yeah.
That's very important in healing. And it's true scientifically, right? The electromagnetic fields in your body are connected to the electromagnetic fields of Earth. We found that through grounding technology, it actually reduces inflammation. I mean, so many good things happen being properly grounded and sourced to nature.
Yeah.
So nature is really a part of my mindset. The rhythms and cycles were all a part of those. I celebrate the solstices, the equinoxes. You know, I'm a good pagan. In that way. And there's a healing that we get. There's a presence we get when we're in nature, undistracted. I'm going to say also, not like, you know, being in nature and being there, you know, but like really being in nature.
Yeah.
That's a place of being. So there's a Sanskrit word, bu, or right, bur, which means to be. It's in a lot of prayers and stuff, but that's also the name where you get the name of Mother Earth, the Bu Loka, the plane, the earth plane. This is the place you get to practice being, to really be who you are.
Yeah.
We all have a unique connection to God, to spirit, to life, to each other. And just showing up in any moment and, you know, practicing connecting to your heart. Just shifts everything. You know, it's like these things are, they're simple, but they're not easy. Meaning a simple practice.
Yeah.
You find, you know, prayer. Let's say you like the prayer of St. Francis.
Yeah.
Just say that to yourself every day. In those few moments, you'll feel the connection.
Yeah.
That's why we try to do something every day that anchors us, grounds us.
Right.
And then as we get more aware of, you know, we become more present in the moment, you get more self-aware, you become more aware of the energies that are happening. And then how could I interact in a more loving way? How can I practice more self-love?
Yeah.
Well, what does even that mean? Like self-love, like to really love yourself. So think about somebody else. If you really love somebody, right, you care about their well-being. You would encourage them to do things if they're burned out or stressed.
Yeah.
Right. So just turn that around.
Yes.
Because actually, here's the turnaround, right?
Yeah.
We all have somebody right now in our life that we love.
Yeah.
That you really like, even if you're in an argument with them or whatever, like strip all that away. You love that being.
Yeah.
And you want the best for them.
Yeah.
So how would you direct that toward them and then just turn it around?
That really hit me the way you said that. Just turn
Me
that.
too. I don't think I've ever said that before.
Yeah. There's something really powerful about that phrase, turn that around to you. That's really, really powerful to think about, because even just towards, as you said, our beloveds, our children, the way we care for them, what we want for them, can we turn that same care towards us? And it's always curious to me why that seems a little more difficult. It seems easier to love others than to turn that. And maybe it's just the way we've been brought up. I'm not.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it is interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting. It's
more history.
Yeah, it's like easier just to direct that energy towards the ones we love than towards ourselves. Yeah.
I have a very powerful practice. So I just remembered it as we're here. So something we probably all do every day. Get up in the morning, brush your teeth. You look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right. So here's a practice that you could try if you like.
Awesome.
Get to that mirror. Don't freak out. I know I did the first time. It's okay if you freak out too. And you just look into your own eyes.
Yeah.
They do that eye gazing thing. It has different names, but just catch your own gaze, take a breath. And, most of us probably just do that. And it's like you panic for a moment or you want to run away or get uncomfortable. But I want you to realize what a deep thing this is. There's no pressure around it, but to really make presence with someone.
Yes.
And Dalai Lama says, no one deserves your own love and compassion. Like you deserve, I don't want to mess up Dalai Lama's quotes, so I'm going to paraphrase, but you deserve your own love and compassion as much as anyone else. You are worthy. Beautiful. We've come to see ourselves as unworthy. That's been a condition.
Yeah.
That we're somehow separate from God. We're not worthy of love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is our work to practice God's love, practice loving in a world that is on the brink of madness right now.
Yeah.
I mean, all this, I'm going to just say BS that goes on at higher levels. And, but it's really if those leaders were, and there are some of them, really practicing love and compassion and not just political posturing and special interests. And, it's but we have to just take back our world by creating a loving world together. Yeah. So you do that with yourself too, right? You look in the mirror and you go, actually, I'll look into the camera. Just kind of breathe through that uncomfortableness and just say, and maybe you don't say anything the first time. You'd be like, okay, namaste or whatever.
Yeah.
But eventually you just say, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you. Hang in there.
Yeah.
You got this. You give yourself some positive message.
Yeah.
Because can you feel it? It's there's something inside this case.
Yeah.
And loving ourselves. And then the more we love ourselves and accept ourselves, doesn't mean accepting everything is written in stone. It just means okay, this is the reality. Change what you can, accept what you can. We also open our capacity to love others more.
Yes. Even just this beautiful practice you're talking about of looking at your own eyes in the mirror and speaking to yourself, it's to me it's like inner intimacy. It's creating intimacy with the self, which it's interesting that can feel a little uncomfortable at first.
Of course.
Yeah. Like, and why do I feel a little resistance to looking at myself in the eyes? What is it? Yeah.
Well, okay. So let's catch that one, right? This is my take on it. So
yeah.
The more we kind of live on the surface, and sometimes we do that just because we're trying to get by. We're trying to like keep up with everything.
Yeah.
Maybe like, like you walk into the coffee shop in the morning and they're like, "Hi, how are you today?" And you're like, "Not good. I'm falling apart." How uncomfortable would that be? And they'd be like, "Okay, well, would you like some coffee?" It's coffee helps.
Right.
But so there's like a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
But if you're practicing self-love or just practicing presence or showing up as an authentic human being, somewhere we got to start. And sometimes the best place to start is anywhere. So you figure out these moments that you can do, and you look in the mirror every day. Just catch your gaze, see that person in there and just say, "Hey, I see you." That's even way better. Start with that instead of "I love you." Like that's like level 10.
Right.
I see you.
I see you.
I'm having a hard time right now.
Yeah.
But okay, like I can feel you here. And it sounds weird, like you're talking to yourself.
Right.
We do it anyway. So time to get over it and create positive, loving support in our self relationship.
Yes. Showing up for yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Just even looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, "I see you. I'm having a hard time," or "I'm not."
Be your own best friend. Yeah,
be your
totally.
Own best friend. Yeah. Inner partnership, inner solidarity. I love that so much. And of course, as we nurture the intimacy and partnership with ourselves, as within, so without, most likely we're able to be more intimate with others, more open-hearted, more vulnerable, more showing up for others as we are able to show up for ourselves as well.
Absolutely. The inner and the outer are totally connected.
Yeah.
And so, so like, here's another great practice is when you catch yourself in a moment of really feeling joyful, loving, like positive, some positive thing externally, like, "Oh, I'm feeling happy because of this experience, because of that."
Yeah.
Turn it around again. Just direct the energy in. I'm feeling a lot of love right now. Like, and that's why, things like yoga and going to church. There's could be multiple, just my church is yoga, and right. And that's where I go.
Yeah.
But it's like seeing people doing this, they're doing these practices. And then all of a sudden you just kind of direct the energy back home. Yeah. And they're able to make a bridge between those two spaces.
Yes.
See, that's the turnaround.
And yes, I love that so much. And it seems like we're often socialized to give our energy outwards. And I just love your phrase, to turn it around, to bring the energy back to you and let it fill your vessel.
How about this? Self-love is love redirected to yourself.
Yes. I'm writing that down. That's great. Self-love is love redirected towards yourself. Yes.
Just because we all can, I'm guessing most beings on planet Earth have a memory, a feeling, a concept of love.
Yeah.
And maybe if we're really lucky, a day-to-day experience of loving someone, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and okay, so another form of love and self-love is compassion. And when you realize that so for me, this is a huge realization, realizing that the struggles I go through, the, ups and downs and just this vulnerable human experience, like you're having that. Yeah. My mother had that. She's having that. My, friends, people I like, don't like.
Yeah.
They're also trying to go through this world. So like when you frame it in that way, we're not just kind of looking out, judging everything as good or bad, but also like seeing with wisdom that human experience, like everybody else is going through the ringer too, trying to figure out how to love, how to show up, and wants to, this is a human, natural human condition. Buddha spoke about it, psychologists speak about it, that we all have this innate desire for happiness. Yeah. It's just how we fulfill that, or what we think will make us happy, is where we get in trouble sometimes. Yeah. But we all do. And like I recognized that early on because of the Buddhist teachings that all beings, seek happiness. Doesn't mean we get there, doesn't mean we do it in the right way. But wow, that's interesting. Like we all, so I have to remember, like, people that plug me in or I'm not resonating with, like, okay, I may not resonate with that. Yeah. But beyond that is a human being. Can I tell one quick story?
Please, I love your stories.
So a lot of people would know Ram Dass.
Yeah.
It's a great, spiritual elder brother. He passed away 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Yeah. But so much beautiful reflection and teachings. And so I had the benefit of doing some retreats with him some years back. And that was very much a wonderful time in my life. And he was such a loving presence. Like it was always about being present. And he was very powerful in that way. Yeah. The story I wanted to share was in his home, in his personal altar, he had, and this is not in any way political, so you can change the thoughts as you like, but there was a picture of George W. Bush on his altar. At that time, George W. Bush is president. Yeah. Now, it could be another political figure for the story. It's just that's what it happened to be. And we all know who we might put there as I tell this story, but and not that it's the same person, but his guru, his teacher told him, love everyone and tell the truth. So Ram Dass had a stroke, and at some time he was reflecting on that teaching. Who do I not love? And his teacher Maharaji also said to not cast anyone outside your heart. The love of God, right? That's also in the Gospels. That's big love. That is radical divine, trying to integrate divine love. Yeah. So he thought, who do I not love? And in that moment, the first person that came to him was George W. Bush, because of that time, space, whatever. Yeah. It could be anybody, right? So I don't want to get stuck there. Yeah, yeah. And so he put George on the altar. And so next on this altar, you got all these like saints, like Jesus and Krishna and Maharaji and Buddha. And I don't remember all who was there. Yeah. And every day, he'd be sitting there doing his meditation, he'd go down, just kind of recognizing those beings, part of himself, as divine beings. And at first he'd like, couldn't even look at George. Right. There's a really great ending to this. And just, over time, he's able to kind of like acknowledge. And what he came to realize in the teaching, this is why he told the story, was that, and it's akin to what we were talking about earlier, he can not like the personality or not agree with the personality. Yeah. Don't spend too much time hating on it. So just not agree with, not enjoy, not like. But to see the soul love. Yeah. And realize that person is a soul just like me. We're connected. Yeah. And if I hate you, I got hate. Right. Hate is hate. Yeah. Love is love. Yeah. And so right now, the master class on planet Earth is learning how to love. Yeah. It's always been that way. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. The master class on Earth. Yeah. Learning to love. So try to think of, maybe somebody we don't love. It's not technically in the category of self-love, but it is, because and when you come up against resistance with people and stuff, and just to try to bring like more heart, more love to that situation. Yeah. Yes. It's beautiful.
We're all brothers and sisters in the end, all sparks of God.
And in the beginning, yeah.
And in the beginning,
Yeah.
yes, the whole time, eternally. Thank you so much, Saul. You're so much wisdom, so much light. Where can people find more about you on your website?
I have a very simple website.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. You could go to my name, sauldavidraye.com, or Ritam, Ritam,
Yeah.
Healing Arts. Ritam just means the cosmic rhythm that we're all a part of.
Yeah.
And then I also do a newsletter. They could sign up there if they want. I'm not, my marketing department is pretty small. It's just me. But constant, doing programs. I teach online every week to a group on Patreon. And
Oh, okay, great. So you have a Patreon.
Have retreats. I teach every week.
Okay.
Have retreats. And now that things are opening back up, hopefully, we're having more festivals and gatherings. And, a lot of those are really great.
Yeah. And are you based in California? Is your home?
I've been living in Laguna for the last 2 years with my girlfriend. And right now I'm kind of, starting to travel again. I kind of have a gypsy soul, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
But, eternally finding the balance, trying to.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But I feel very grateful right now. And if I just close with this, like my big awareness right now is just feel like it's like we're all being asked to really find a bigger vision.
Yeah.
Like what is the highest vision that we might think for our lives? And it doesn't mean it all has to be here, but to just chip away at it a little bit, and then that's also for the earth, holding a little prayer when you do your meditation, you do your whatever you do every day, just pray for peace, pray for everyone.
Yeah.
Dear God, let there be peace.
Yeah.
Make me an instrument of thy peace. Just simple things we all do, show up with love.
Yeah.
And it does make a difference. You don't have to, have a million followers on Twitter or whatever. You can, make your neighbor a pie.
Yeah.
Look someone in the eye as a stranger and just say hi.
Yeah.
It's real right now. I mean, there's so many people suffering in this human world we've created.
Yeah.
And it could be so much better.
Yeah.
With more love, right? We got enough food to feed everyone. We got enough housing resources to house everyone.
Yeah.
And there's enough love for everyone.
Yes. That's what always comes through me. What do humans need more of? Just more love. What can you give? Just more love. What does everyone need? Just love.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So every child just needs love.
Yeah. And I love your guidance to hold the highest vision for your own life, for the planet, for every brother and sister on the planet. Thank you so much, Saul. What an honor to sit with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone who's here. Thank you, and blessings to everyone. And let's just keep holding that frequency of love and anchoring it onto planet Earth. And there's many, many of us.
Yes. There's hearts showing up from a lot of people with your words. Yeah. Thank you, Mary and Ramiro. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone connects with Saul's website. And he's just so amazing. And just thank you so much for your presence on the planet and all of your light.
Thank you too. Thank you. Yeah. We're all here. We're here.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thanks for doing this beautiful offering for everybody. And I hope it goes far and wide.
Thank you so much. Namaste, dear brother. Lots of love to you. Bye. Well, that was amazing.